Sharp Customs, we're rolling. I was in the middle of saying something. There's, my son and his friends, they hang out upstairs in the whatever you want to call it.
Man cave.
He's got his own man cave up there, and they were talking. I was just about to say something, and then camera girl, she hit the button and went, give me the cue in. But you got it, man. We are rolling. We've got just a short update. I've been up to a lot of stuff, and we got the jet boat on the trailer. Because as soon as we get a nice day, we've got a bunch of rain here in southern Ontario, and the weather's been kind of crappily, man. Like cool. Like you go outside right now and you want to put a light jacket on. It's not anyhow, we've got the mill in. We've got it. I did a little test. I couldn't do it in my pool. If I could have done it in my pool, I would have did a video of it. But I ended up doing it in our little fish pond. There's no fish in that pond. We had a turtle. We had a little turtle in that pond. But it's all lock, stock, barrel. But the only thing I got to do is I just got to secure the fuel tank. I put a Baja. That Baja I had under the table that I've been scavenging parts from. I put the whole Baja radio box, which is kind of cool because I got my charging port, I got my little antenna, and then I've also got a switch. I'm not gonna. There we go. We're live. But we don't want to do that. We don't want to do that because without the transmitter on it, does weird stuff. Like yesterday. Yesterday I turned it on to show somebody something, and my I have to look at the radio. The DR. So that's your I forgot what it was. But anyhow, it was at 100%, and when I turned the steering, it turned the nozzle on the back of the boat, and it snapped it. See that? It snapped the back side of the nozzle off. So not a big deal because I 3D print this stuff. So I did a silver one. I figure the bottom of the boat is silver. I figure I'd print me a silver one, and I have the DR, which is it's basically the amount that the nozzle can turn. I had it set at like 35%, and it was perfect. And I'm not really too sure what happened, but it was at 100%, and when I turned the steering, it tried to go full bore, left or right, whatever, and I heard a crack and it snapped the nozzle off. But that's an easy fix. There's a piece of plastic. 3D printing ain't chalked up to what everybody thinks it is, man. That stuff breaks so easy. But that is pretty. I'd like to get some. I keep saying that. I keep saying, I want to get some. I'm gonna get some vinyl. Get some vinyl stickers for the side of it instead of painting it or airbrushing it. Do my logo, Sharp Customs, on the side. And then I got thinking about it, and I was like, wait a minute, why would I go get some stickers made, like, down at the local vinyl shop? I got a plotter in the house. All I got to do is buy the damn vinyl.
You have an airbrush.
Oh, I have an airbrush too. Anyhow, that's the jet boat, and as soon as we get some nice weather, we are going to take it to the river, and we're going to run it. And we're going to see, I did run it in the pond. Of course, the pond is so small, it just sucked up a bunch of debris and plugged up the pump, and I really I just wanted to make sure it was idling good and running good, and make sure that the cooling system was cooling, you know, which it was before the pump clogged up with, you know, weeds and seeds and all the crap that's built up in the pond out there. It's like an algae infestation. It literally looks green when you look at the pond. This coop here, this coop should have been in a box and shipped days ago, but I've been procrastinating with the jet boat and other projects, and we'll get to that. We'll get to that. But I did, as you can see, the guy who's buying this asked me if I had ever thought about headlights. And no, I really didn't. And I found these ones. I scavenged them again off of that Baja that was sitting on the floor that I've been scavenging parts from. And they're just little plastic buckets. And I 3D printed some lenses. These, this probably like 9 and 10. I think it took us 10 tries to get them. The lenses to print out. They're printed out in a clear, and I'm gonna scooch by the camera. Camera's gonna go around me, and if I switch the switch on, if I can find it, there we go. We got headlights. They're not very bright because dummy me didn't know that there was a on the LEDs that I was using for these. There was actually 3 LEDs, and I didn't know that there was a little diode in line with the 3 where they come to a Y, and I kind of cut them all apart so I could extend the wires and stuff, and then I hooked them direct to 6 volts, and they kind of went dim and they kind of went blue, but I didn't cook them. I didn't cook them. They still got some life in them, eh? And they're probably more for show than anything. But they're just on the 3rd channel. They just come on direct with the on-off. Still have to secure the fakey motor, but yeah, probably over the weekend. Actually, what I'm waiting for is I'm waiting for somebody to get me a damn box for this to go in. And I got a few leads. I'm not going to go out and I'm not going to buy a box. I know so many people that work in places that, you know, appliance places and stuff like I'm sure they can get me a box. Like, you know, give me a box for a dryer or a fridge or something. I'll cut it up and we just haven't had anything here big enough, so I didn't want to take a whole bunch of little ones and try and glue them all together and make a box for this thing to fit in. So Vic, it's coming, don't worry. I know you're going to watch the video. But over to this little unit on this table, we've got it's going to be a 34. It's going to be another hot rod. But I've got the power plant, the gearbox, the suspension, you know, the trailing arms. It's in there. It's in there. We've got it lock, stock, and barrel. Made these brackets. Of course, all this stuff needs to be cleaned up. So this bracket kind of holds the rear end because this unit has independent suspension, and then I put the brackets up front down to this lower, you know, the plate that's kind of holding everything. And so yeah, we've got the suspension. I can't wait to try this one. Everything's pretty, everything's pretty close. It's pretty tight. And obviously the frame here, as you can see, these the frame tails, I chopped those off If you were going to use like the whole fender pan and everything, then you could leave these on, but because I want the body sitting low on this, I'm not even sure on the direction that I'm going with this. We'll get into the front end because I've got, I'll come around this side. So I got my straight axle that I cast. I got my homemade, you know, leaf spring from a Sawzall blade. Made that. I'm gonna take the straight axle out just for a second. Everything's just kind of sitting here. So these, I'll take a wheel off. Oh, here we go. I'll take a wheel off. I gotta show you these. These are pretty funky. I just spent the last couple of days making these spindles. I call these my $1 million spindles. They're not $1 million bucks, but so I machined these out of like solid aluminum, but it was such a fiasco because you know, when I was out in my tent and I was cutting the block of aluminum, I have that big block that I've shown before. You know, I was cutting a 1-inch slice off of it, and it was like I was in here doing something else, and it was like, how come I don't hear the bandsaw? You know, my bandsaw is loud. I think the bearings in the motor are going, and it's like I don't hear the bandsaw. So I went out there to investigate. Of course, the blade had locked up on the aluminum block, and I'm guessing it overheated. And I was like, oh crap! It's a big old electric motor on that bandsaw. So of course I had to, you know, take it apart, take the motor off, bring it in here, piss around with it, and it turned out that all it did was, you know, there's a, you know, like a circuit breaker or reset button. I just wasn't pressing the button hard enough. I had to actually really press that button to get the breaker to pop. So I got that back together, got my piece of aluminum block cut, brought it in, started milling it, and it was like the gear head in my little lathe mill combo that you watched me maybe almost close to a year ago create some nylon gears for it, and it's been working fine. Well, it went for a shit. It went for a shit halfway through milling these things. So it was like, okay, so we're kind of SOL, you know, kind of went on the internet search. You can't find, that's an MCO, it's a Maximate V10-P, you know, FB2 mill head, and you can't find nothing for that stuff, man. That thing's so old, you can't, you know. Last year I did find a couple of the gears, and of course the person selling them on you know, Fleabay, you know, they wanted a fortune for them, and they wouldn't ship to Canada, so I ended up making those nylon ones. So this morning I just kind of, as watching some videos, you know, having my morning coffee, and I just decided, you know, I'm gonna make a new gear. I only need one speed. That's all I need. I don't need all the multiple speeds on it. I just need one speed. And yeah, so I found a piece of bar stock brass in the drawer over there, which was pretty close to the same diameter as the gear. I only had to turn off, you know, 100 thou, and I did it exactly the same way as I did the nylon. I cut the center, I did the countersink in it. I got it as close as I thought it should be. And then I marked it out with one of the old nylon gears, and I sat there and I spent, I don't know, maybe a half an hour or so zip cutting the teeth into that piece of brass. And then I put it in there, rotate it, mark it with a magic marker. Every tooth that got stuck, I'd mark it with a magic marker and bring it out, and I'd tweak it a bit until it was, full rotation. And yeah, so a brass gear on a steel gear is what's running it now, and I hogged some major material today. Obviously, you can see I got my spindles. I got my spindles done, which is cool. And then I wanted to make trailing arms to go to the axle, and I was going to use this 3/4 bar stock, and it would be machined down to roughly 3/8, and it fit on these where the lines are. I don't know if the camera can see that, and then be tapered down so that one of these Heim joints could kind of go in it. I don't want the whole, I don't want the whole chunk. I want it 3/8 thick, and I want it tapered down so it looks, so it looks good. And then this will get bolted to there, and Heim joint goes back here. And I was really trying to get there before we did this video tonight, and it was like, so I take the tape measure. I got the big long piece of bar stock, enough for two. I need 5-inch. So I thought, I'll go a little extra, 5 1/4. And then when I measured out the second one, I was like, I don't like using the end of the tape measure, so I'll put the one there, and I mark out 5 1/4, and I scribe all my lines, and then I cut it. Yeah, well, what happens when you put it at the one and you go to the same measurement. It was only 4 inches, and I didn't have enough of the bar stock left to do another one. I was like, oh man, you gotta be kidding me, man. I only got one. It's like, and I searched this whole piece of property, the garage, everywhere, I just wanted a piece of 3/8, so I could make my trailing arms, for the front to go on the straight axle. And it was like, nah, I pissed around for an hour, and it was like, no, there's nothing here, man. And then finally it dawned on me. It was like, I made up this like literally in 10 minutes. It's just some tubing cut, and it was done dirty, very dirty. Welded some pieces of junk on the end, took it outside, fired up the forge, loaded some aluminum in the crucible, and poured me a nugget. Now it didn't, it did not look like this. This was probably an hour on the mill, but it was twice as thick. But I hogged that other material off the top of this, going, with the auto feed, going slow, 3 passes. You can see the marks, 1, 2, 3, just going slow, and each pass probably took, I'd say roughly 10 minutes, but it was hogging off, pretty dang close to a 1/2 inch of material. So the brass gear that I made for that, it's working just dandy. I got myself a piece of 3/8. I'm going to slice this, not tonight, I'm going to slice it down the middle tomorrow. Be a little over 3/4 of an inch. It's much longer than I needed. But yeah, like, should have just not wasted all that time, and it just kind of came to me, and it literally took 10 minutes to kind of weld this piece of crap up. It's not even, they're not even parallel. They're all all wonky, and it was like, I just need to pour some aluminum in it. Like that's, you know, that's as simple as it gets. The forge with the crucible in it, 7 minutes. 7 minutes it took to get to molten aluminum. And then I poured it. And it was like, so, yeah, so all in all, in less than half an hour, well, let's say an hour, all told, I had my, you know, as much time as I took looking around for a piece of material. You know, I made this, I forged this, and machined it in roughly about the same amount of time, about an hour. Yeah, that's crazy. You know, gotta keep that in the back of my mind when I want some material. Now it doesn't machine quite as nice, but it does the job, man. But yeah, oh, I wanted to. We'll just mock up this this front, and I won't put the wheels back on it. I'll just slide this underneath there. But I'm gonna steal this yellow body just for kind of mock-up purposes. I almost forgot. Yeah, I just wanted to kind of show you what this hot rod is kind of gonna look like. Now I got the body hanging over the frame, which is what I want, about 1 inch. I do have a grill shroud here, and you put the grill shroud like this. It's not going to stay there. I know it's not. It might, but I was thinking of doing a whole, you know, forget about the fakie motor. Obviously this has to come out more. I'm gonna try and just place it, but yeah, with the big front wide wheel, it actually looks pretty cool. So I'm thinking, you know, vintage modified, you know, old kind of stock car-ish kind of look for this one, just because it's got the big wide tires. I might actually chop more of the frame, get the body sitting even lower. Looks good with this, you know, the chop top body. So when I make the body for this one, I'm definitely gonna have to chop the top. But yeah, it kind of gives you. Let's just set a wheel here. There we go. Yeah, we put some. You know, we put some Nerf bar bumpers, some Nerf bars on the side. We make it look like an old stock car. I'm thinking that might be kind of the look I want to go for. I was also thinking F1. When I say F1, yes, I mean F1, where they put the side vents. You know, they put the wing, they put the snorkel. You know, the side vents are for air duct braking. They put a diffuser on the back. They put the spoiler and diffuser on the front. That's getting a little carried away, even though I do like. I have seen a few on the internet, and they look pretty radical. I'm just trying to think of building it with a different look. You know, you can only build a 34 coupe. You know, you can chop the top, and you know, you know, this one here, this for me, this is gonna be like my 4th one. So I'm trying to not just duplicate. That's kind of my thing. I don't like making the same thing over and over and over. You know, I did the gray one up there. It's full top. I did the you know, the root beer colored one that I sold. I did the yellow one, which is on a Baja chassis, and now I've got another kind of home built, semi home built chassis with you know, Rayco rear gearbox and hot rod motor. Hopefully that motor is really nice. But so I just want to do a different look for it. Maybe I'll do even a more radical chop. Maybe I was thinking about laying the pillars back, but that's pretty hard to do with fiberglass. But yeah, so there you have it. There you have it. Nice little short video update from Shark Customs, and yeah, you get to see a little bit of the new project. And of course I'm doing many other things. Today I had the lathe running, I had the printer running. It was like going back and forth, check the printer, check the lathe. I love the lathe mill combo with the auto feed, because it's like when I was doing this piece, it was running so slow I could just set it. Couldn't forget it though. I had to listen. I'm always listening for the noise when it gets to the end of a run. But yeah, I think this is going to be a stout little quarter scale coupe project, and oh, it won't be long. You know that. You know me. It won't be long. This thing will be, we'll be doing some donuts across the street, or, you know, somewhere. But, yeah, there you have it. Share, like, subscribe. Thank you for all the comments. Shark Customs. Peace. I'm out.